Did you know he'll help you understand? Did you know always a right hand man? Did you know he's gonna make it clear? Did you know? Come on, listen here. Did you know?
Hello, and welcome to the Did You Know Show. My name is Brian Green, and today the show is being sponsored by Always Best Care Senior Services. I have the blessing and the pleasure to be down in South Philadelphia, and we are focusing this episode on NoMo Foundation. And I'm sitting here now with the one and only Ricky Duncan. And I'm super excited. He's been on a radio show, and he just, as a man about town, he's Philadelphia native, sportsman, supporter of all the teams here. But he has a really intriguing story, and I made a decision not to read his bio because I think he gives the best intro and story to who he is and then how we got to the NoMo Foundation here in South Philadelphia. So without further ado, here's my guest, Ricky Duncan, on the show. Welcome. Thank you. And I'm so excited, too, because his dance card gets filled. His schedule is insane. So for him to be able to make time to sit and talk to us is a huge thing, and we really appreciate that.
No, I appreciate y'all having me.
You know, the Did You Know show is centered around connecting people to home, community, and business resources that you ordinarily wouldn't know about. And so today we're going to talk about this community resource, NoMo Foundation. But before we get there, Ricky, tell us a little bit about you and tell us your story.
Well, again, my name's Ricky Duncan, man. I was born and raised here in the 7th Street community in South Philadelphia. You know, I'm a sports fanatic, as you mentioned. Love to work with people, love to, uplift my community. You know, I'm in a restorative practice in life, so, my thing is to restore order in Philadelphia, but first starting in my community, but both first taking the early initiative, intervention, prevention, making sure we end generational curse and start with the young people. My goal is right now is, because a lot of young kids can't be what they can't see, so I'm here to be a real model in real time, somebody that they can relate to realistically, you know what I mean, and be that beacon of light for my community.
Wow, so what led you to NoMo Foundation?
Well,
Come on with it. It's
a long story, man, but NoMo is acronym that stands for New Options, More Opportunities. And that's like the story of my life, man. I returned home, I was formerly incarcerated, justice impacted, did some prison time. Over about 20-something years in installment plans, and I wanted the new options and I wanted more opportunity. I wanted a second chance to do different. I knew when I was coming home, I wasn't just coming home to represent me and to lead me back into society, but I was a father. I was a son, I was a big uncle, grandfather, husband. So I wanted to be an example, and I wanted to do something different than I did. They say insanity says when nothing changes, nothing changes. And if you're saying to do the same thing over and over again, you can expect a different result. So I knew when I came home this time, I was going to do something different, but a person that failed to play and playing to fail. So I started my journey back in prison. SCI Greatest 4. When I had the privilege of meeting a great man by the name of Dr. Tom Reed. Dr. Tom Reed was like a father figure, mentor to me, and I explained to him what I wanted to do out of life. I wanted to be, that change agent, not an activist, but an actionist. And I told him, I said, listen, man, when I get out there, I'm going to need some support. We had guys like Sam Staten Jr., Tyrone Cake Sims, Dr. Gene Wright, just to name a few. There was so many great men that came inside that prison that really poured back into the men that was in there. And we were in a program that was called the FACT program, which the acronym stands for Fathers and Children Together. That's where I got the chance to meet my partner. He was also incarcerated with me, DeJuan Williams, and we both had this vision that we wanted to first and foremost be a great dad. But we wanted to really know how to be that great dad. Coming from the streets, you think that as long as you put food on the table and money in the pockets and clothes on the kids' back that you're being a dad. But it's a big steps to becoming a re-entry father. Re-entering into your children's life. So this FACT program gave you the opportunity to teach you how to rebond, reconnect. Don't just walk in the house and sit at the head of the table and say, Daddy's home. What do you do? How do you be a successful, impactful father? So this program allowed us to be able to visit with our children one on one, which unheard of in the Department of Correction, where the other parent doesn't come in, but you get to sit with your child and just bond with them. We did workshops with different organizations that came in, therapy workshops with different psychologists. Was able to reignite that relationship. And so fast forward, and I decided that I was pretty good in the facilitating space.
Okay.
But I was facilitating. I was writing a lot of programs while I was incarcerated. A lot of them been adopted by New York Department of Correction, Pennsylvania Department of Corrections, and I was like, well, I want to do something different. I don't want to deal with. I'm a returning citizen. I can deal with them by my example, but I wanted to stop the new generation from being. I wanted to send them to the Penn State other than the state pen.
Mm.
I wanted to rip that school to prison pipeline out the wall. I wanted to end recidivism. I wanted to end generational curse. I wanted to cure it. So I thought the best way to do it was early initiative interventions and prevention. So I wrote a program called Balling Up Scholastic in Sports. As I said, I'm a sports enthusiast. So I just wanted to teach the kids to stay healthy and fit through sports. But I also wanted to be knowledgeable because if they don't become a sports player, they could be an anchor, they could be an agent, they could be a lot of different things. But I wanted scholastics to be in there because I knew no matter how good you was on the court, you needed that book smarts. Because a fool and his money will soon depart. You can make billions of dollars, and if you ain't got that education behind it, you ain't gonna see that money. You know what I mean? You ain't gonna be able to guide the people and lead to be the beacon of light you need to be as that real model. So I wanted to, so it was balling up scholastic in sports. So I used to go. Dr. Tom Reed did what he said he was going to do. I was also a drug and alcohol treatment specialist, and I got certified while my time in prison. So he ran several different drug and alcohol programs. So as soon as I came home, he gave me an opportunity to be the director of reentry of drug and alcohol and treatment, right? But every day I schedule all my people in the morning, and I leave in the afternoon, and I go to the schools pushing the balling up scholastic sports narrative, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Trying to get my program off the ground, and I would do free summer camps, I would do rec centers, so he said, jokingly, he said, so what do you do when you steal my money? And I said, steal your money, Doc, what are you talking about? He said, you run out of here every day, we supposed to be working, you know what I mean? I said, no, I see all my clients, I do my paperwork, but he know that I was so dedicated to getting to these young people that I would clock in at 5 in the morning.
Okay.
Get all my paperwork done, see my clients by 9 to 12. So by 1 or 2, I'm out in the field. So I was like, no, I'll give you your hours. And he's like, no, I love what you're doing. He said, listen, I got a program that I founded some years ago. It's been dormant for over 5 years now. It's called NoMo, New Options, More Opportunity. If you're not stuck on your name, the Balling Up Scholastic and Sports, I think our vision and mission match. And I see the synergy there. But he kind of put the program to bed because he kind of outgrew it.
Okay.
He wanted the young people to look at him more so as a leader than a grandpa. He's like, I got too old for it. So he's like, you're that fresh face. You can go out and you can do it. They'll listen. You know what I mean? And he said, and it's already a 501c3. It's already incorporated. So why not just take that and run with it? He says it's been dormant for years. So I reignited, got the paperwork court back up, and I was like the adopted co-founder of NoMo, rebirthing it. So from there, it was up. Like I just decided that, okay, I'm going to run with the NoMo name, and they start calling me Mr. NoMo, and because the name got out there now. It got out there now. So we started with our first building on 5510 Willen Avenue, up the street from Dr. Reed's 5616 Southwest New Stop. Of course, this was his building. He said, go ahead, we do this. So we started running classes, being like an after-school program for kids to come home. And then we got noticed by TANF, Philadelphia Works. That Philadelphia Works had a TANF grant. Shout out to Mike Joins. Mike Joins, he called me and said, listen, I need to have a meeting with you. And he wanted to try something new. They wanted to start the first youth incentivized paid workforce development program. So they gave us, they said, ask me, could I do it? I said, of course, I interviewed, I was supposed to do 50 kids. Remember, I'm a novice in the space, so I don't know nothing about sticking to the scope of service. Only thing I know is, if you want 50 and I give you 100, you're going to be happy.
think.
I don't know nothing about the budget.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's like, oh, we didn't budget for 100 kids. We told you 50, but we'll find some money for these other because we're glad you got 100.
Right.
The 100 turned to 200. So we outgrew the space. So we were using 5510 and 5616 now. And then Dr. Reed had 1609 Poplar Street, and he was like, and this was like a 2-building, 4-story, 3-story building. It's like, you guys can use that before I sell it. Eventually, the sale went faster than we thought, so we had to go out and find another space. We went out and we started 925 North Broad Street, Broad and Girard. We opened that
I know
space.
that spot well.
Kind of outgrew that a little bit, and the demand was more for what we were doing. The demand, it was like, well, can you guys do it other places? Because, with the high violence in Philadelphia, a lot of parents don't like their kids to travel too far. And we both know the history of Philadelphia. Broad and Girard ain't the best spot, but we strategically put it there because when you get off the subway, you can literally walk right into our door. It's like it was connected. You know what I mean? It was like going from 2 steps and you in the door. So then we came here, where we're at today, 1212 South Broad Street. As you know, once again, strategic. The train's there. You come up, you come in here.
The subway stop.
Subway stop. And then I wanted to find a way to give back and to give back to Dr. Reed because we lost him last year.
Oh, wow.
We rest his soul. Like we lost Dr. Reed, and I was like, he always told me that he wanted to, don't stop listening to the heartbeat of the people you serve. Don't stop listening to the voices. So what I started seeing was it was a need for housing for our young people.
Oh,
And when I say young people, I'm talking those tweener generation X, 18 to 24.
Mm-hmm.
So I got with the owner of 925, and I said, listen, she said, I got another space. What could you do with it? I said, I really don't need another space, but I need a house. I need to house people, young people.
And just to jump in there, I learned something earlier, well, at the end of last year, dealing with an organization called SELF.
Yeah.
And that deals with people that have home insecurities and food insecurities. And for a while, I guess my naivety, I thought, when I think of people that are struggling with a home, trying to find a home, or homeless people, or food insecurities, for some reason, I was always thinking that they were older people. And then as I got closer to the organization itself, they made me say, no, Brian, there is an unfortunate growing population of young people that are homeless.
Yeah, shout out to Dr. Dash. I love Dr. Dash and the work that she's doing over there with SELF. See, the problem we have with that is they're going to tell you it's only 3.5% of young adults that's homeless. But they're not. That's because they're only people that they're getting on account. They're not checking in. They're not letting you. The couch surfers are homeless too.
Right.
If I'm staying on your couch and I'm not your child, you know what I mean, you can't get a tax credit off me, I'm homeless.
Right.
If I'm not on that lease, I'm homeless. And as an adult, you classify as adult as 18 and 18, but you still classify as a youth, a young person, is what they would say now, from 18 to 24.
Right.
So it was like, you keep saying that they're not homeless, but these guys staying with his friend. This person over here staying in a car. This person over here is staying on his uncle's couch. Because what happens is, we don't just deal with the people that literally sit on the street, but what about the homes that's not homesome? You know, the mom and dad, the mom and the daughter that have been beefing for 20 years, 10 years, and the dad and the uncle are the incarcerated parents that's no longer home and they got to stay with grandpop and grandma, but they really can't afford for them to be there.
Right. So it's a struggle for everybody. And the thing about that is that there is a lot of homeless people that are young people. The other part of it is, too, I learned a lot of kids, unfortunately, once they age out of foster care, they're on their own.
Yeah.
Which leads to, in a lot of ways, unfortunately, to homelessness. But, NoMo is a beacon in the community. And I heard about it, and then once I knew about it, it was like, oh, yeah. You say something to somebody else, like, just like you and I have a conversation, like, oh, yeah, I know, blah, 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 Ricky, blah, blah. Like you said, Dr. Dash, well, Ricky down there in South Philly. And then somebody else said, well, he's in North Philly. I said, well, wait a minute. I said, oh, it's multiple locations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I said, because I'm about to argue with my chest, like, no, he got how many locations?
We have 3 now.
Okay.
We have the South Philly location, which we're at now, the North Philly location, which is our administrative building. Then we have the Dr. Tom Reed Village. That's a one-stop shop resource center along with 23 affordable luxury housing program that we have connected to it. So it's like 3 plots up there. It's actually West Philadelphia, one on 4077 Lancaster Avenue. It's actually 3 different buildings. It's one building that holds the housing. The next building we have the Black Brain Campaign. You get free couples counseling, mental health counseling. You can get one-on-one stress and anger counseling. We have the Mothers Association there where you can get peer-on-peer mentoring. We have JD Tax. We can get free tax services in there. We have ODAD in there where we get drug and alcohol treatment program in there. So this is, and then we also have in the back is a computer lab where you get free Wi-Fi and job search. Next to that, we have affordable hair care center where you pay what you can afford. Because if you look good, you feel good, and a lot of hurt people are hurting people for a lot of reasons. So we have a program space behind that and an affordable economic development center where we host pop-up shops and we advertise for different low-income businesses that's trying to get off the ground, small businesses.
We're in South Philadelphia, the South Philadelphia location, and we're in what is known as the Chill Room.
Chill Zone.
The Chill Zone. The
Yeah.
Chill Zone. And right behind you, we have this great art piece. Please explain it.
Okay. This was put together by a returning Justice Impact returning citizen, is a great friend of mine, Timothy Curtis. He designed this NoMo Foundation mural to represent Philadelphia. If you see the N, when you first look at that N over there, you're going to see the City Hall. Then you're going to see the O. The O is 2 hands coming together as peace and unification. And we have the M. The M you'll see is the Muslim garbs in there because we have a huge Muslim population in Philadelphia.
Okay.
Then you have the O. The O is like cracking through with the graffiti. A lot of people don't know. They think of New York, but Philadelphia was one of the originators of the graffiti, which eventually anti-graffiti was ran by Jane Golden. Is now considered Philadelphia Moral Arts.
Okay.
That's how deep the graffiti game went. Then you have the F right here. The F is connected to the scepter trade.
Huh.
The O, the U, the N, and the D is the door. Because I don't know if you're from Philadelphia and you drove public transportation, you heard this 1,000 times. Back door. Everybody
Yes.
goes to. So that's the D stands for the back door. And then it goes over there. We have the A, the T, and the O is the smoke. You got a guy riding a dirt bike with dirt bikes around here, and he has a Philly hat on. That's the young guys. They wear their hat to the back of the Philly. Then you have a T that's shaped as a tree. So we bring in shade. And then we talk about our new community and our upliftment and the new houses and how we brighten up our community. You have a house over there to show like the new greenhouse. We getting rid of a lot of the project buildings and we making it look real nice out here these days. Philadelphia's an upcoming state. We believe in the one Philly that the mayor is pushing and and at the bottom of this, when it's all said and done, ain't nothing like those train tracks. So if you see the trolley tracks right up under it.
Yes.
The trolley tracks is under it and I mean, that speaks to Philadelphia, and I say, NoMo is want to be what we strive to be is like a beacon of light of Philadelphia, and we want our people to know where they come from, so they can see where they're at and respect where they're at today, to know the history of it. On that wall, you have second chance. The affirmations that's up there is letting them know dedication, second chance, educate, structure, no rules, new options, more opportunities, believe in yourself.
Okay.
We want to always put positive affirmation into our young people. So because young people don't realize you can't be what you can't see. So we got to have these real models in front of them. And I say real models over role models because a lot of times we get disappointed by role models because they play a role and then something happened and you're like, oh man, I can't
What
believe
happened?
I
Yeah.
looked up to him. I watched that show every week, and I thought that's how it really was in real life. But a real model is somebody that realistically that you can relate to in real time.
Okay.
So I see you and I see a real model. I say, I watched it. Bro, from West Philadelphia, he own all these nice companies. He's doing his own talk show. And he didn't do a day in jail to do it.
It's interesting listening to you. People that follow my radio show, TV show, know that my father was incarcerated and he passed away at Greaterford.
Okay.
And so I was honored earlier in the middle of last year by Why Not Prosper.
Yes.
Michelle Simmons, who I also love to death.
Yes.
Ain't nothing she can do about it. But they gave me an unexpected award, by the way. And after I got finished accepting the award and telling people, I think that's the first time out loud that I had actually said that my father died in prison. And like you said something that laid on me, and it continues to lay on me. Every time you say it, it just touches my heart. I too wanted to be a father. I didn't want to just be a father. I wanted to be a dad.
Yeah.
It was a goal before I even had a degree, I think, because I wanted to, even now, giving back to kids in some kind of way kind of heals my heart. A lot of times when you see people out there doing positive things, you realize how much I miss. But my father was incarcerated, and at the end of his life, his health was bad. And so we tried to get a compassionate release, and it just didn't work out that way. He wound up passing away in the late 90s. But from that experience, going to the prison and seeing so many people that were trying to get out and trying to be positive, I seen it up close and personal. I said, that was the first opportunity I had to reconcile my relationship with my father.
Wow.
And so in that, it was just like, okay, in a lot of ways I forgave him, and I had a chance to reconcile that kind of a void. But when you come out of the prison, sometimes people go back, and like what you said, installments. Sometimes you don't get it right the first or second time. But when you do finally get it right and you want to come home and you want to be positive, when you said that, Ricky, that we've been talking for a little bit now. When you said that I wanted to be a dad, like not just a father, I want to be a dad. And I thought to myself, like, yeah, that's what I wanted to do that too, because that's not what I had. And I wanted to pass all this love that I would have probably given my father had I had the opportunity, to my children.
And my dad was actually incarcerated at Greatest Fort too. So I seen my dad, and I was away for about the next time I got to see my father was in the receiving room, coming through Greatest Fort, and he was there waiting him because he was incarcerated. My dad did well over 30-something years of my life, and that's why I talk about generational curse. Like my dad's name Ricky, my name's Ricky, but I was determined. My feet might have got dirty, but I'm gonna keep theirs clean. Like that stops here, and I do everything I can. This is what if people see when I post on Instagram, my favorite song, this is what I do it for, and it's always showing my kids because my life is dedicated to them. Like I can pour into them now. So many of my kids I had to watch grow up through Kodak. And for people that might not know what Kodak is, because that's when we had the little Polaroid pictures back in the day, but pictures. You know what I mean?
I knew what
but
you meant.
Some of the listeners, you might got a young following, they don't even know what a Kodak is. You know what I mean? Everything is click, click, it's instant. Like, you know what I mean? And so, like, my son's here with me today is like, one of the reasons, like, I look forward to picking him up from school.
Right.
I look forward to go to them games.
Right.
I burns my wife out sometimes because she's like, that's all you do. Like, you want to over there. But I'm like, they need that. You know what I mean? I need that.
I need it too.
I need it. That heals me.
We're going to take a quick time out. We're going to come back on the other side. We're going to continue our conversation with the executive director of NoMo Foundation, and we're going to talk to his partner. We're going to talk to DeJuan Williams. DeJuan Williams is the Vice President of Operations, and he's in charge of the Restorative Justice Program. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back on the other side. We'll pay a few bills. We'll come back on the other side and continue our conversation about NoMo and all the positive vibes that it's given us in the community. Please don't go away.
Did you know?
It's growing again.
These caregiver deserts are everywhere. It's slowing down. It's almost stopping.
It's stopping right around Philadelphia.
What's happening on the ground? It seems like Always Best Care is fighting back. How?
Ride sharing, gift giveaways, job security, promotion opportunities, competitive pay.
That's amazing. I want to work there.
Then you should apply too. Join Team Green today.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Green. I'm a retired nurse, and Always Best Care takes care of me in my own home.
Hi, I'm Brian Green, the owner and CEO of Always Best Care. We service southeastern Pennsylvania and the entire state of Delaware.
Do you want them to know that I'm your real grandmother?
Yes, Chubby, that's the point.
Should I tell them the time when you were 7?
Love, no.
I could stay in my own house and get all the help that I need, and I tell you that all the time.
You see, I trust my people with my grandmother, and you can trust us with yours.
When it's time for your loved one to move into a new home, it's tough to know where to find answers, and you may end up in a web of defeat. Don't worry, we can help. At Always Best Care, we understand your needs, and our trained experts can arrange senior living community tours, provide guidance on care, budgetary considerations, and help educate you on the amenities of each location. Think of us as your complimentary personal concierge service. So when it's time to find a new home for your loved one, we make it easy for you to focus on what's really important. Contact us today.
Did you know? Come on, listen here. Did you know?
Welcome back to the Did You Know Show. I want to remind our viewers that you can check me out on Saturdays at 4 p.m. on WRDLive.com, or you can go to 96.1 FM or 900 AM. Saturdays at 4 p.m. we take the Did You Know Show to the radio waves. We're coming back and we're talking now with DeJuan Williams, who is the Vice President of Operations for NoMo Foundation. And Mr. Williams, let's go ahead and give it to us. Tell us about your role. Tell us what led you here. Tell us your story.
Absolutely, and thank you guys for having me on the show today.
My pleasure.
Absolutely. My name is DeJuan Williams. I am the Vice President for the Division of Restorative Justice here at the NoMo Foundation. NoMo is an acronym for New Options, More Opportunities.
All right, and in your role, what do you do exactly?
So my role is boots on the ground, day-to-day operation. I run our restorative justice unit. That can range from youth in a diversion program who the judge may have sent to the NoMo Foundation as an alternative for going to prison and having a record. It could be adults, coming home. We service a 18 to 26-year-old population that's, coming out of the county jail. Or you may have a older individual, man or woman, that's coming home from, the federal or the state system. And we provide a series of services, workshops, and resources to help the community be able to move forward.
How did you get involved with NoMo?
Me personally, I served 10 years, 6 days, 12 hours, 37 minutes, and 13 seconds straight of incarceration.
Oh, wow.
This past October the 6th, 2024, I celebrated 10 years home, and I successfully completed state parole. Myself, I was incarcerated September of 2004. I was granted my freedom in October of 2014. I've been out here, for a decade. Ricky Duncan, the executive director, he and I, we had met at Graterford while we were, incarcerated. We were two guys who had signed up for one of the initiatives that the Lifers had started, called Fathers and Children Together.
Okay.
And that was a program that was geared towards reconnecting incarcerated fathers back with their children. So we got out over a decade ago. Ricky and I, we linked up. One of our board members was the late, great Dr. Tom Reed,
right,
who's the founder of the NoMo Foundation and one of our, mentors, father figure. And Dr. Tom Reed, he turned over the reins to Ricky. He said, man, see what you can do with that. And here we are going on 11 years later. And you were in our biggest location right here down in South Philadelphia in our Restorative Justice Center.
Wow, it's so interesting that, you give back that way. So when you're talking to the youth, and I guess youth or people coming home that want to do things differently, what advice can you give the village? Because it takes, you agree that it takes a village.
It takes a village,
and,
absolutely,
and
my brother.
So, what advice, you might have somebody's mom, grandmom, grandfather, extended family, mother, parent, sibling, child even. What should be our approach for positivity?
I'm glad you asked that question. That's a good question, right? And I had absolutely no clue that this interview, this conversation was going to happen today, right? Last night when I got in, when I got in the house, my wife, she old school. We old school. We watch a lot of the old school shows that we grew up on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nothing for me to walk in the house and my wife watches Sanford and Son as if it just came out last week.
Me too.
But last night when I came in, I got in around in between, I want to say 7 and 8 p.m. And my wife was watching A Different World.
Mm.
And A Different World was on the episode where the brother had came home from prison and he had hooked up with Whitley and nobody would give him a chance because he was a brother from prison.
Right.
And it was just a whole narrative that was being pushed. So to your question, right, what can I say to the community, you know, dealing with returning citizens, dealing with family that may be, you know, ready to return home from incarceration, or even dealing with children that's impacted by the system. You have to create resources. We're not living in times where we can, you know, sit around and wait for our family to return home from prison. We can't sit around, and you have to get up, go out, and get the resources. You got to start asking questions. You got to get involved with the NoMo foundations. You got to use Google. It's an all hands on deck situation if we want the men and women returning home from incarceration to be successful.
Wow. And if you have a child out there, a teenager or a young adult that's out there that gets redirected to NoMo, what could they expect? And how, I guess, on the
I'm going to give you the short story. Let me give you the short story answer to that. Here's what you can expect: consistency, structure, and discipline.
And it's necessary. So how do they support that, what's going on in NoMo? You know, like if you see somebody about to backslide, because I'm no stranger to the streets. I'm no stranger to dysfunction. I'm no stranger to people having success stories and also people backsliding, because we live in the real world. But again, you know, you're not walking with pins and needles, and you don't want to give people excuses. You want to give them opportunities. And so when you you come to an organization like NoMo, you know, as a parent or the village, you want to support them and say, hey, listen, this is what you can expect. Because a lot of times people are also dealing with trauma.
Absolutely.
They might be dealing with some type of demon that they haven't fully understood. But you know, among the operations here, I know you guys do give resources to therapy.
Absolutely.
You know, group sessions.
It's a holistic family approach, right? Sometimes in order to be able to help the child, you got to help the parent.
Thank you. That's what I'm
You know what I
getting at.
mean? So in order for NoMo to be able to work for you, it's an all hands on deck situation, meaning mom, dad might have to sign up for financial literacy classes. Mom, dad may have to get connected with a GED or literacy program. Mom, dad may need therapy resources. We have case managers. We have peer mentors. We have job partners, program partners, where when a family comes to the NoMo Foundation, it's almost like going to the ER. Tell the doctors what's your problem, and we try to point you in the right direction of the resources.
Wow. How do people support NoMo?
You can support NoMo, okay, by way, we have a website, nomofoundation.org. We have a donation button. We already know that the elephant in the room with nonprofits all across this country is always funding to be able to properly do what we need to do, to be able to keep the lights on, the doors open, and keep the youth and the families engaged and coming through the door. So the tough question is always, look, feel free to donate. You can donate. You can support us by not only donating your financially, but donate your time. You know,
Your expertise.
Your expertise. Like, look what we have right here. As far as I'm concerned, I'm sitting down with the top television network in the world. Imagine those kids downstairs if they walked up here right now and saw this and said, yo, I can do this. You would teach me this? Right. You can be my mentor? Because we're teaching that you don't have to have been to prison to be somebody's mentor, my brother.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
We need to be getting mentored by the Mr. Danny's from down the street who's been working for the city of Philadelphia the last 30 years, and he can tell you a thing or two. Just because he hasn't been to prison or just because he ain't been stabbed, shot, or karate chopped, that don't mean he doesn't have valuable wisdom. So again, this is an all hands on deck situation. You can support us by financial resources, intellectual resources, trips, food donations. You can drop off soap, deodorant, toothpaste. You can drop off snacks for the kids, or just drop off resources. Where can we point them in the right direction?
Wow. On that note, if you look at the bottom of your screen, you'll definitely see the information to support NoMo, and it is a 501c3, so that means it is a tax-deductible donation. In a political climate where we're so uncertain of to where the support is coming, we're going to have to get back to the village. You said something that laid on me that I'm sitting here thinking about. Bring back the old heads. The old heads, the respect. The respect of the old heads. And when somebody's trying to tell you something, you listen. You know, you didn't get in your feelings and say, oh, somebody trying to, you drawn, or this, that, and the third. No, you when old heads talk to you, whether it was a female or a male that's in that neighborhood that gave you that advice and said, hey, listen, that brick wall is hard. your head is going to hurt after you do it. We prefer you not do that way. If you give people opportunities, the theme, as I keep hearing it, is people have to, young people in particular, have to see it sometimes to believe it.
Absolutely.
Because if you don't see it, you don't do it, you don't really know. I was a nerd. I used to go, one of the only few places I was allowed to go to when Mommy was working was the library. And that's back in the days of the Dewey Decimal System. I was a librarian aide. To say it now sounds corny, but the library, for me, that's where I dreamed. I dreamed a dream. In a lot of ways, I wanted to be in a family where I was in a minivan with 5 or 6 kids. I dreamed about that before I even dreamed about going to college, because that's not something that I had. But it was something that was around me on the peripheral of my life that just looked like something that I belonged in and belonged into doing. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and continue our conversation with the Executive Director, Ricky Duncan. Thank you, Mr. Williams. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank y'all for having me.
He let me in the building today, y'all, so I had to get him on the show. His energy is contagious. I'm sure you will agree. But please do not go away.
Did you know?
Yummy.
Yummy.
I don't know about you, but I'm getting out of this nightmare. No, 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 no.
It's okay, Miss Orwell. You're safe at home. You were just having a bad
Nightmare. Oh, thank goodness, Julia. I love my always best care.
When you were a child and you lost your way, you needed a familiar hand to guide you onto the right path. As you grew, you found your way through life's twists on your own, secure in the knowledge that those same hands were always waiting to guide you home if you made a wrong turn. And now, it's your chance to help the hands that helped you. But senior care can feel like a maze with no map or no one to turn to. And that's why we're here. At Always Best Care, we will help you navigate through the senior care maze. We provide options for living safely and independently as you age. And our flexible services will put you in control of making the best decision for your loved one. You can trust and rely on our professionally trained caregivers to put a smile on your loved one's face. Our team of caring people are dedicated to exceeding your expectations, always. So, spend less time lost in the senior care maze and more time right where you should be. When you don't know where to turn, call Always Best Care today for a professional care consultation.
Did you know? Come on, listen here. Did you know?
Welcome back to the Did You Know Show. I'm sitting here now with the Executive Director, Ricky Duncan, and it was just brought to my attention. They brought some of the participants in the program, so we now have a live studio audience, but we were told they were off air that they have Freestyle Friday. Is that what I'm saying it right?
Freestyle Friday. We run a structured program, organized program, NoMo. So on Fridays, the young people just get a chance to, we're in the chill zone right now, so they basically get a chance to put their feet up, chill, do things that they might normally wouldn't able to be to do, because like I said, they're set to what they set to. So on Friday, they get to do the things that they just want to do.
Okay. What's the other week look like? What do you do on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday?
Hey, we start our week off every week with workforce development, because that's our core, one of the core programs that we have, financial literacy, because no matter how good you are at what you do, if you're not able to manage it financially, as we said, a fool and his money will soon depart. Then we have electives. Our electives go from anywhere from music to branding and fashion design, culinary arts. They have computer literacy. They have
in the workforce
all this over.
In the workforce development, are you guys doing mock interviews, or they kind of?
We're doing everything from step A all the way to Z. They want to learn what should go on a resume, what a reference is about, what's the interview process look like, how to conduct, what's your body gesture should be, how to dress for them. Everyone in our program is allotted a suit. As a man, as a young lady, you get a blouse and a top, so you can be interview ready. If you're already ready, you don't have to get ready.
Okay.
And we believe in the early initiative and intervention and prevention. We want to make sure that we take an early initiative approach from age 11. They say, well, why are you preparing them for an interview at 11? Because at 14, he's going to want a summer job.
Right.
But he might want to do an internship at 12. You might legally can't work until 14, but you can intern anywhere at any age. You might want to do a mommy and me shadowing. Or you might want to be that young person that teaches an older person that don't know. Because a lot of people is only responsible for what they know. We got some adults that don't know how to conduct themselves in an interview or write a proper resume or a cover letter.
Or what we've participated in different programs across the city is we've done this intergenerational vibe where you might have a retired person showing a young person that has aspirations to be in healthcare, government, and so forth. And the reverse of that is when you have a young person showing an older, more senior person social media.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a great conversation because, you know, a lot of times the seniors go on social media, they fall into the traps that we all do when we're first getting out there. You get viruses and that kind of thing because you're clicking on everything so fast. But we've seen it really work out well, and it really closes that generational gap. What I want to know, when I think about this program, you know, do you have, or are you really kind of encouraging students or people, I'll say students or participants, when they finish the NoMo process, to come back and mentor others?
Well, yeah.
Is that an opportunity for them to do that?
That's always an opportunity. Like we have some of our accomplishments. We have the Bill Gates Millennium Scholarship Award winner. We have the Coca-Cola Scholarship Award winner. We currently have a young lady at Duke University, one at Howard University, that actually has her own nonprofit now. So again, I'm going to keep saying, real models over role models. People in real time, realistic that they can relate to. And who better to meet them where they're at and be able to speak the language of the people other than another young person that's been through the program and is actually doing what they need to do in society today and contribute to what we gave them and the tools that we implemented them at NoMo. So we always ask them to come back. We got a young man, Abdul. He comes in. He runs young men groups. You know what I mean? He's in an academy to be a firefighter, but he's working at PHA right now. So he PPA, not PHA, PPA. So all the time we want them people to come in. So when one's coming in with your uniform on, be like, he was in my class. Or you want to see that the kid come in with that cap and gown because we want to go to more graduations than we go to funerals. You know, we want to go to more ribbon cuttings than we go to court appearances.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, the more young people that we have come back, the better we are. And we say we're a family, so we don't consider nobody discharged. You're branded in. You know what I mean? You sworn in, you born in, you're always going to be a part of NoMo.
So what are some of the upcoming events happening here?
Well, NoMo, one of our biggest events, we got, shout out to the Eagles, man. We got a huge Super Bowl party coming up on Sunday. Right after that, we always do our spring fling, celebration with our young people. We do our summer breakout. Then one of our biggest events of the year is our back to school prep rally. And people say, prep? No, you meant to say PEP, right? No, I'm a little college educated. I went to Penn State. I meant to say prep because what we do at our prep rally is we are preparing our young people for a successful school year. So we do haircuts, hairdos, give out laundry detergent, cosmetics, uniforms, gift cards, school supplies, book bags, coats.
Wow.
We make sure you don't have an excuse why you don't walk in that day, why you don't walk into the school proud and ready to learn on the first day. I was always taught that everyone starts on the honor roll with perfect attendance. Why miss the first day? Why would they miss it? Because some kids don't have a uniform, so we make sure they got it.
Right.
Some kid only have 1 or 2 uniforms, so we make sure they got detergent so they can wash it. Some kid don't have deodorant, we make sure they don't got a hair done, we do that. Don't got a haircut, we make sure you got that too. Your uniform, pants, your school supplies that you need. We want to make sure that you're fully prepared to start that school year. And we have a concert, a block party. We cut the whole Broad Street off because we want you to be as hype as you are for that homecoming basketball game or football game. We want you the same way to start your school year off, which is the next step to starting your future.
Wow. And as I'm sitting here thinking about school and everything else that's going on here, the jobs and the summertime and that kind of thing. So if you're out there and you're an employer and you work in human resources or career development and you know of a situation where you can look for youth, whether it's something simple as being a librarian aide. I think we were talking about that off air. I was a nerd. I grew up in Winfield, but my mom worked 2.5 jobs, and most of the time I was home alone. Mm-hmm. The only place that I was allowed to go to while she was working was the library, which was a few blocks away. So I soon became a librarian aide. Mm-hmm. And that's back when when microfiche I'm dating myself a little bit, but that's when we had microfiche. When microfiche was a big daggone deal, but we used the Dewey Decimal System. Now you got the World Wide Web, and so you could just type something in, a couple of letters, and then you can find what you're looking for. But it opened me up to a lot of different things like drama classes, karate classes, reading clubs, book clubs, all kinds of different things that may sound corny to some degree. And I'm first generation hip hop. I'm first generation video games. So I remember, if you had an Atari 2600, you
made it up to the 63, then the ColecoVision.
The ColecoVision. You went through the whole natural process. And it's funny, I got in my basement now, in the man cave, I got Centipede and Miss Pac-Man.
Yeah, I got the game. I got it.
Just stand up, and so my nieces and nephews always tell me, Uncle B, you corny. But I said, y'all can't beat me on it though.
Yeah.
So you have all this going on. So as we wind down, the actual show, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to conclude with how my viewing audience can support NoMo, how the village can get involved, and maybe even talk to pointing some folks in some resources. Please don't go away.
Did you know?
When you were a child and you lost your way, you needed a familiar hand to guide you onto the right path. As you grew, you found your way through life's twists on your own, secure in the knowledge that those same hands were always waiting to guide you home if you made a wrong turn. And now, it's your chance to help the hands that helped you. But senior care can feel like a maze with no map or no one to turn to. And that's why we're here. At Always Best Care, we will help you navigate through the senior care maze. We provide options for living safely and independently as you age. And our flexible services will put you in control of making the best decision for your loved one. You can trust and rely on our professionally trained caregivers to put a smile on your loved one's face. Our team of caring people are dedicated to exceeding your expectations, always. So, spend less time lost in the senior care maze and more time right where you should be. When you don't know where to turn, call Always Best Care today for a professional care consultation.
When it's time for your loved one to move into a new home, it's tough to know where to find answers, and you may end up in a web of defeat. Don't worry, we can help. At Always Best Care, we understand your needs, and our trained experts can arrange senior living community tours, provide guidance on care, budgetary considerations, and help educate you on the amenities of each location. Think of us as your complimentary personal concierge service. So when it's time to find a new home for your loved one, we make it easy for you to focus on what's really important. Contact us today.
Did you know? Come on, listen here. Did you know?
Welcome back to the Did You Know Show. I want to remind our viewers that you can check me out on Saturdays at 4 p.m. on WRDradio.com or 96.1 FM or 900 AM, 4 o'clock on Saturdays. The Did You Know Show is centered around connecting people to home, community, and business resources that you ordinarily wouldn't know about. And I'm willing to bet somebody's watching this TV right now and didn't know about NoMo Foundation. And we've learned a lot about it, but one of the questions that we asked off screen I want to ask now is this a court-mandated program?
No, it's not court-mandated. It's more peer-on-peer referrals. Like, our doors are open for any young adults between the ages of 11 to 24. We serve at-risk youth, and if you live in the city of Philadelphia, you're considered at-risk youth. So we service all at-risk youth, aged 11 to 24. It's not court-mandated. It's not restricted by income. It's not restricted by gender. We service young men and young women. So this is a door of opportunity here. We actually try to service as many people as possible. We don't want to see we say idle time's the devil's play toy. We don't need the devil playing with our young people.
So is there a cost involved?
It's not a cost involved at all. The cost is we want you to invest in you. The cost is your time. That's just skin in the game. And we operate off of Earn to Learn program. So if you learn, you can be incentivized to you can actually make up to $200 a month by being in the program.
Oh, really?
We incentivize our young people through supportive services. We make sure their cell phone bills are taken care of. If they need school supplies, as I mentioned earlier, if you need an interview attire to go to an interview, you know, as we make sure you always got something to eat. We do a community grocery store weekly. They're able to come home and take food home and groceries home to the family. You make sure, and like I said, if you need a haircut or a hairdo, we try to take care of that as well. You know, we provide trans passes for transportation. So you actually get paid to be here. This is not a job, but it's incentivized.
Do you connect young parents, young teenage parents to resources? Are they involved too at some point, or?
We can't do the work without them. It takes a village. So the parents are very imperative and important to getting to what we were trying to get to. So we have what we call Parent Cafe every month.
Oh,
where we
okay.
offer resources not just to the young people, but to the parents as well. So we
Okay.
do a Parent Cafe every month. We invite all the parents out. This time, I think our past one we gave all the parents Eagles gear.
Okay.
You know, so.
What about the teenage parents? Is what I think I'm asking about. What about the kids that have kids?
Well, we already servicing them, so you know we
Okay.
try to provide them with resources to make sure that their child is also getting the proper care that they need in the daycares and things of that nature. Because we don't want
Okay.
their life to stop because they had a child.
Right.
We want them to continue to keep on pushing, making sure that they're in the proper place in life, that they don't want to give up on themselves. Like I said, hurt people. So a lot of times, keep people hurt for a lot of reasons. So we don't want them to lose hope. We want them to be able to continue to move forward. You got a child now. Okay, we're gonna help you raise that child like we helped your parents try to help raise you.
So we were talking offline. You were telling me about the trips. We call it Saturdays.
Stay Safe Saturdays. We do that. We do Stay Safe Saturdays. That's every Saturday during the summer months. We try to make sure that we take our kids to a safe place, whereas though that's our form of trauma-informed care, where sometimes, you know, a child is home, they got to be big brother, they got to be big sister, sometimes they even got to play mom and dad. You know, they got to cook, they got to clean. This is the time for them to just be a child. We put them on a bus, take them away, and just drop all those barriers and drop all those restrictions and just be a kid, respectfully, you know, and just enjoy life on life terms. You know, take you to we go to Wildwood, Dorney Park, Hershey Park. We've been to Great Adventures.
Morgan State University.
Mr. Williams is out over there, and that's all right. I'm gonna let you live on Morgan State because I went to Virginia State.
Yeah. Well, we do an HBCU tour. You
Okay.
know, so we try to make sure that, you know, we're exposing them to new options and more opportunities, but also letting them have their trauma and our innovative way of trauma-informed care where they're just able to breathe. Everything don't have to be structured to the point where as though your life is a robot. You know, we want you to be able to be a kid too, because we're losing that lost art of tag, hide and go seek and all that because of the environment and the temperature of the environment right now. They don't get a chance to enjoy those things that me and you might have a chance to enjoy growing up. So they're stuck in the video games, they're stuck in the house, or they putting them in the program and picking them up and shooting them right back to the house. So we want them to be able to stretch their legs a little bit, you know, just enjoy being a kid. So Stay Safe Saturday is all about them.
You know, I'm sitting here thinking about how I could get involved. Two things that came to my mind. I'm a theater nerd, you know, and I'm also on the board for Philadanco. So the next time they have a production, I may just send you a group of tickets. There's nothing for me to say, hey, listen, come check out this thing. And really, Philadanco performs a lot at the Kimmel, which is right up the street from the South Philadelphia location. One more time before we, you know, as we wind down the show, tell us the 3 locations again and the hours of operation.
Okay, most of our hours of operations are normally between the hours of 3 to 6 to sometimes 7. South Philly tends to open up to 7 o'clock, which we're here right now at 1212 South Broad Street. This is not only the home of our culinary art program, but the birth of our restorative justice program. So even though you don't have to be coordinated, but if you are justice impacted and you do have some type of community service or you need to be involved in some type of program, I feel as though this is the best program for you. We have our housing program that serves young women between the ages of 18 and 24, along with our resource center, affordable hair care where you're able to get your hair where you can afford it, and economic development centers at our Tom Reed Village, which is 4077 Lancaster Avenue in West Philadelphia. And our administrative office is our home base, is located on Broad and Girard, 925 North Broad Street.
And so one of the other questions as I'm sitting here thinking about it, we've talked a lot about it not being a court-mandated program, but I'm wondering, do you work with the current prison systems? In other words, the people that are about to come home, Do you have resources or programs for them, or and not just even from prison, maybe from a juvenile
From
justice
anywhere.
system?
Well, our restorative justice is one that has no ceiling. Our restorative justice program doesn't stop with youth, so that is not an age barrier for that. Again, with me and Dewan both being justice impacted, returning citizens, like that's part of our lifestyle. That's part of our give back. If we can help guide a guy on his when he leave prison and get him on the right track, put him in the right rooms, that's our give back. We work with our young people from early initiative intervention so they don't come out to prison.
Right.
But the guys that do come out, you want them to stay out because they are someone's father. They are someone's son. You know what I mean? We want to make sure that we can do whatever they need to help them be a more productive citizen, taxpaying citizen in the city of Philadelphia.
All right, I'm going to go there. How do you guys decide which HBCUs y'all go to?
Whoever sponsors.
Okay.
So you want us down there, what else you said?
Virginia State, Petersburg.
Send us down there, man. Put us on a bus, we down there. Connect us with administration. We'll get on the bus. They love it. But sometimes we do have national sponsors come along and put some, offer these trips, and to get these people, our young people exposed to different HBCUs. And again, we love our HBCUs, but we want them to explore all universities.
Right.
Because what's for you is for you. You know what I mean? So we don't want to cut them off in no way. We don't want them to think it's a bad thing to go to Penn State. I went to Penn State. I'm a Penn State alumni.
I get it.
So it's not a bad thing. But don't go to State Penn.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just don't go to the State Penn. You can go to Penn State. You can go to HB. You can go to Morgan State. But just don't go to the State Penn.
And in the spirit of that too, everybody may not have the best outcome at college. How do you connect them to the secondary programs too?
Well, we're partnered with the labor union.
Okay.
We're partners with them. They have different programs that they're doing. We got several different vocational trades that we teach here. We run a beauty cosmetology school. Culinary arts is what you hear right now. J&A Culinary Arts, one of our great partners. So we like I said, I'm going to continue to say it. NoMo, new options, more opportunity. The more opportunity we put in front of our young people, the better they off they'll be. No excuses, no more excuses at NoMo.
Wow. As we wind down the show, I just want to say thank you to the NoMo Foundation leadership, Mr. Ricky Duncan and Mr. Dewan Williams for coming here, sharing not only their personal story, but their personal mission and their connection to the NoMo Foundation. I'm extremely honored to be here to really highlight and really focus on what you guys are doing down here. If you're looking at the bottom of your screen right now, you can see the website and where to make a donation, or if you're thinking about something outside of a monetary donation in the way of in-kind services, be it your professional services, you can get in touch with them through the website and really come out here. I like what Ricky and Dewan said. He said it over again, it's just laying on me. It's like the sky is the limit. And if it hasn't been thought about, it's certainly something that, they're open to putting together. My name is Brian Green. It's been my pleasure today to be here at NoMo Foundation in South Philadelphia, although West Philadelphia born and raised. It's all good. I'm a Philadelphia native. We're going to gear up. We're airing this now right around Super Bowl time, so we don't know the outcome of that, but we're going to keep the birds.
Go Birds.
Go Birds, right?
Go
all
Birds.
Right. Take care. That's our show for right now. We'll see you next time. Take care.
Did you know he'll help you understand? Did you know always a right-hand man? Did you know he's gonna make it clear? Did you know? Come on, listen here. Did you know